Game Square, Game Square. It's party time, it's excellent. Game Square, Game Square. Win or lose, they'll give you the news. Game Square. We're down in the basement talking baseball.
Everybody, welcome to the 10th episode. We made it to 10, James, of James Squared.
Unbelievable.
Before we start, I would just like to say, hey, subscribe and follow to Halos in the Infield on YouTube and on Believe for all the podcast forms. Let's say if you don't want a visual, I can't blame you. As well as Instagram, X, and Facebook. And shout out to all of our sponsors as well. Noble Ale Works at 1621 Sinclair Street B in Anaheim. It's just right past that Shell station. Free parking there. And just a little walk to the stadium as well as the Honda Center. And then please go to 714 Tickets.
714 Tickets. 714 Tickets. Call today. Go tonight.
So I recently got a deal with Todd for Saturday's game. And luckily he had some points or whatever, so it didn't cost me much. And I just said, hey, just get me in. I just want to get in the game or get into the game. And definitely hooked it up, and I thank him. And be sure to go to 714 Tickets for all your ticket needs. Last chance, last second efforts to get in, do that. They're right across the street from the Honda Center, and make sure you put in the code HITI for 10% off in the checkout there. HITI, just remember that for the code. That's been really helpful. Let me tell you this, because you know how everything's going up in the world, in the country, every single thing, even fast food. And 714 Tickets is here for, the last part of the Ducks season, and then, of course, the all season long for Angels baseball. So, let's get to the opening series that was for the Angels. They started off with Boston last Friday, and everybody got one of these, I hope, one of these wall calendars. I think I've sold 3 of these on eBay so far. This is my last one, and I kept the one I have. I'm going to keep one, but it's been good for me. So this is, if you want this, go to my eBay channel, JP. I'm sorry. I should know what that is. Damn. JGON 9810. That's my handle on eBay. Just look up Angels Wall Calendar 2024, and you'll be able to get your hands on one of these. Let's say you're out of state, you're out of market, you won't be able to make the games. Boom. Find this. All right, so to start off Friday night, we were boots on the ground. We were there. We had the flyover with the 2 F-15s, I believe. It was a really festive affair. But as it was all series long, Boston brought the lumber to the games. The Angels lost 8-6. It was a slugfest, a little back and forth affair. Logan O'Hoppe, I believe in that the sixth inning, hit the grand slam. And you know what? I said, hey, O'Hoppe hits a grand slam, I'm gonna get everybody a hot dog. So I owe everyone a hot dog, if you remember that, James. Soriano got the loss, Chris Martin got the win, and Jansen got the save for Boston. But overall, James, what did you think about the opening day experience that Friday?
I love opening day, and I don't miss an opening day. So for me, the festivities started at Golden Road, and then I made my way across the street. But it was it's always a great feeling to get back in the ballpark, And this time it didn't disappoint, even though the game didn't.
I think he's frozen. But yeah, I'll talk about opening day here. O'Neill had 2 home runs. They had 5 on total. A lot of hit batsmen as well. And that was really unfortunate. But throughout the series, Boston just kept it going. And again, they won 8-6. The Angels went to 4-3. Next night on Saturday, the Angels won 2-1 at a game. Luckily, we were at. Great tailgate by Todd and the Halo Honk. That was really cool to see. Detmers got the win. He was amazing. Detmers, I think, had 12 strikeouts. It was absolutely amazing in that scenario. It was really great to see Reed Detmers do well. And I really enjoyed that. He went 6 innings, only 3 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, and 12 strikeouts. It was just great to see. The bullpen did their job as well. Simber, Moore, and Esteves got the save. Had some stolen bases, and that's always fun to see. No RBIs. It's just funny how that works. Some, wild pitches here, walks here, made it happen. Like I said, Detmers was just amazing that day. That was awesome. Go to Sunday, though. Oh, boy. Sunday was just awful. The Red Sox won 12-2. It was never close after a while. The Angels did leave, 8 men on base, and it just didn't happen for them. It was really unfortunate. Red Sox scored 3 in the 3rd, 4 in the 6th, and 4 in the 9th, as well as, 1 in the 8th. Mike Trout homered, I think, in the bottom of the 8th, but didn't really seem like anything. Boston, I think, homered 3 times. It was just really unfortunate. We'll see if we can. We are efforting to get half of James Squared back in here. But yeah, Trout homered that day. That was pretty much it. Rendon had a double. By the way, opening day. I don't know if everybody saw this, who wasn't there or whatever, but when Rendon got the hit, it was kind of a sarcastic cheer, and that's one thing I want to talk about with James when he comes back. It was amazing to see that, as we have Milu back here.
I'm back.
All right. Hey, what did you think of that whole thing with Rendon on Friday?
Oh, the standing ovation?
Yeah.
Okay, so a couple days before opening day, Angels Baseball or somebody from Angels Baseball sent out a little meme saying to stand for Rendon in his first at bat, giving a standing ovation pretty much. And I posted it. People are like, hell no, we're not going to stand for Anthony Rendon. So I'm like, I'm curious to see at opening day how many people are going to stand. And so, like clockwork, in his very first at bat, everyone, not everyone stood, but there was people sporadically around the stadium standing up, but most people didn't. Some people even booed. So It was quite interesting to see that happen, and it was kind of funny. I didn't stand. But.
Yeah. There was a couple of people where I was in my section. I think they were just trying to get attention for themselves, but obviously no one was going to stand for that dude.
Right.
He could have hit back in, I think, the 5th inning, I want to say, something like that. And he just ran it out. Devers did not run up on the ball, so that was kind of an awkward thing. So the Angels, like I mentioned, lost 8-6. It was a one of those hard-fought losses, unfortunately. Ohapi again coming up really clutch there. That was really awesome to see. The next night, it was good pitchers duel, and we knew that with Whitlock and Detmers, right? And Detmers, he had the stuff, 12 strikeouts. He was amazing. Only 1 run given up in 6 innings. Esteves got the save. Somehow to lessen that Boston lineup. That was amazing by Detmers. his starts have been really great this year so far, as well as Tyler Anderson. We'll get to him. But Saturday's game, did you see it, and what did you think of it?
Saturday's game, I was out and about on the town. Wasn't at the stadium, but I did get to see the game, and I was very impressed with the pitching overall. We won. We ended up winning 2-1, and the bullpen came through. Estevez came through with the save, his first save of the season, or a second save actually. Overall, it was a who started that game? Was it Sandoval? Oh, Reed Detmers. I can't remember from one day to the next. Reed Detmers pitched a great game, and it was good. There wasn't much offense, but we got lucky. We kind of got lucky. Red Sox made an error. We scored 2 runs off of that. So,
right.
But the pitching was. We need more of that. More like that game, and we saw some of that yesterday in that loss against the Tampa Bay Rays. The bullpen was pretty much shut down. So we're supposed to get Stevenson back too within the next few weeks. So we'll see.
That could help. That really will help. Now, talking about Sunday's game, it was a disappointment kind of from the second inning on. The Angels did leave 8 men on base, and if you watch the Todd Fox post-game show, he'll tell you everything, and this is where I got it from. But Boston scored 3 in the third, 4 in the sixth, 1 in the eighth, and 4 in the ninth, just for good measure. Angels lost 12-2.
Yeah.
There was 5 home runs, I think, by the Red Sox. Chase Silseth, who is on the IL now, had some elbow inflation. Zuniga is also on that IL as well. Just unfortunately to see these pitchers struggle, and we know why. It was just unfortunate to see. In a corresponding move, I think Hunter Strickland was brought back, and there was another pitcher as well, but we probably won't see him pitch. But Red Sox all series long just powered up the Angels. They win the series 2-1, and it just looked like Silseth just was not right. And when he's not right, he gives up those runs, James.
Yes, he does. And it was because of that shoulder inflammation that he's dealing with, as you said. He's going to be back. He was put on the 15-day IL. But, his fastball wasn't as crisp. He lost some velocity on some pitches, his slider, things like that. And they were hitting him pretty hard in that game against the Red Sox. So we didn't know what was going on, but now we know. He was put on the 15-day IL with shoulder inflammation. And he was checked out actually today. He was checked out a couple days ago. His MRI came back clean yesterday, and as of today, he's just going to continue to sit on the IL, and they're going to take it from there. But it looks like he may be coming back within the next week or so, hopefully.
That's
if he has no setbacks. So, yeah, it was pretty disheartening to see because he's a big part of our rotation, And when he's on, he's on. When he's off, he's really off. So, as are most of the pitchers in our rotation. So we'll see how that works out.
Okay, so Monday came this week, and the Tampa Bay Rays came into town. The Rays came in for a 3-game set, and the Angels on Monday won 7-1. Mike Trout's solo shot helped out, and also his RBI triple. Taylor Ward had a 2 RBI single, and Tyler Anderson just looked amazing. As I look up his stats here, 7 innings, 4 hits, no one runs, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts. That means he was keeping the ball low. No really issues the last 2 starts. And I think what is the stat for Anderson that he's the first Angel pitcher to have his first 2 starts with 7 innings, no runs. And that's just amazing to think that never happened with Frank Tanana or Nolan Ryan. That's just amazing that it happens to be Tyler Tyler Anderson with that note. Moniak also had a double. But, man, it seems like the bats were hot during that game, the first game against Tampa, James.
Yeah, and the first game 7-1, then it was all downhill from there in that series.
Mm-hmm.
But we kind of went all in that first game and forgot about the next two. But I really loved the hitting in that very first game. I think Ward went 3 for 5. Trout, or was that the second game? Well, Trout, hit. There was 3 games where he hit solo home runs, and he finally hit a 2-run homer the other day. So yeah, I mean that series from a hitting standpoint, aside from Trout, yeah, not so good. So we'll see. But we did see Trout hit a multi. He had a multi-hit game with a home run he hit where there was another guy that scored. So yeah, it was a good series.
The next day is when that happened with Mike Trout. He hit that 2-run home run on Tuesday. Unfortunately, the Angels lost 6-4.
Yeah.
But yeah, finally, no more home run without a solo shot. I think the last time, what was it, in June or July of last year, Mike Trout hit a non-solo home run. But man, the Rays, they took advantage definitely of Patrick Sandoval.
Once again,
yeah,
not a good outing by Patrick Sandoval. I think it's between the years, as we said before, it's mental, and he's got to find a way to get over that. Maybe a sports psychologist or something. Wash can only help so much, but this it's in his head. When he's going good, everything's great. But when things start to go bad, somebody makes an error, or he loses a guy, or he walks a couple.
He'll be back. I hope. All right, yeah, he's back.
It's amazing.
To mention,
I hope he's back. Yeah.
Okay, we lost you for a second, but looking at Sandoval, he had the 5 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts somehow. It's amazing how he got out of innings. He kind of settled in at the end, but the amount of pitches, though, that was just too much. 101 pitches, and he only worked 5 innings. That's
right.
Just, you would think, okay, that's fine. But it was up to 80, I think, by the 3rd inning, I want to say, or 82, I want to say, for Sandoval. But, man, looking at the Rays, they definitely took advantage. Rosarena, Siri, Caballero had a great series.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He torched the Angels.
Now, he didn't have a great I know he had a couple of errors in the series, but he was able to make that up with his bat. Paredes had a home run as well in that game. So it looks like the Rays were on their way, and that led to the game I went to yesterday, and it felt like a summer day at the Big A. I was out there in the sun, and credit to Jim, I was out there with him and in the shade. But the Angels lost 4-2, and they had a horrible first inning. Did the Angels? I think first of all, there was a wild pitch that got away, or a pass ball, and Theis couldn't find it. And not only did one score from third, but a Rosarena came around from second to score. And then there was a Joe Adell play that looked like he could have thrown out someone if he ran up to the ball quicker, but that didn't happen. Caballero had a home run, and then Joe Adell had his first home run to make it a 4-2 game, but that was it. Zach Lytle looked really good for the Rays, but the win went to Kelly. Jose Soriano got the loss, and Fairbanks got the save. Now, we mentioned about Soriano and this experiment that he has to try to be a spot starter or long reliever. it just doesn't seem like it's going to work out right now. He went 4 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs, no walks and 6 strikeouts. Again, he gave up that home run to whomever. But it just doesn't seem like this is Caballero got that home run, I think, early in the game. But what do you think about Jose Soriano, and then what do you think the path is for him going forward?
Yeah, he didn't start out that great. I mean, you got to give him credit, though. It wasn't totally his fault. There was a couple, there was, he had some bad luck, in the first couple innings with, when the 2 runs scored, he couldn't, and Theis couldn't find the ball. And I think one deflected off his glove, one deflected off his knee or shin or leg.
Yeah.
And
that was all in the first inning. Can you believe that?
Yeah, that was all in the first inning.
Yeah. And then one thing I'd like to mention, though, when the pass ball got away, I was hearing, because I was late on my way to the game from Oceanside, I was hearing that Terry Smith and Mark Langston was saying Soriano has to point out where the ball is to the catcher, and he didn't.
Right, absolutely. That's his job.
So that's kind of both people's fault, and they just need to get that worked on, I guess. But sorry, there you go.
That comes with, not being a starter, pretty much. He hasn't, or maybe he hasn't pitched to Matt Theis as much. He doesn't have that pitcher-catcher rapport that you see most of these pitchers and catchers have. But, yeah, he's got to be there pointing the ball out to Theis, so that second run doesn't score. They took advantage of that, and, they went up 3-0. But, the Soriano experiment just doesn't seem to be working right now. I think he should just stay in the bullpen, to be quite honest, and bring somebody up from AAA if you need a pitcher that badly. But they believe in him. So I think this is a different type of regime. They believe in their guys, so they're going to let these guys pitch through whatever they can until ultimately the experiment doesn't work anymore. So, but how much more Soriano starting do we have to see before the experiment is over?
One more start, I think we'll get of his.
Yeah.
I truly want to say, because of the Silseth injury, you're not going to bring up anyone from the minors. So we're going to see this again, probably in the Rays series. We'll preview that real soon. Some notes as well from today, and we mentioned this before the show. Livion Soto was claimed once again off of waivers like he did in spring training, I believe, by the Baltimore Orioles. And Zach Plesac has been outrighted to AAA Salt Lake City. I really thought these two guys were going to be part of the 26-man roster. And it's just confusing as hell why Plesac, didn't make that jump to the roster. I thought his starts looked really good, at least his first 2 starts in spring. Care to chime in about these 2 moves by the Angels today?
Well, I think with Plesac, again, much like Sandoval, it's mental for him. He's had some off the field and on the field issues as well that plays into some things. But with Plesac, like you said, in spring training, he looked really good. His fastball was good. His off-speed pitches were great. But he got in some trouble later on in the spring with his pitching. But just like you, I thought he was going to make the starting 5. I really did. And it was a surprise when he was outrighted back to AAA in spring. But I think we'll be seeing, now that he's been unclaimed, he's going to go back to AAA, work on some things, and hopefully we see him in the starting rotation within the next month or 2. But with Livion Soto, it's an even bigger surprise, because he's a piece of our infield depth, and he's good defensively, and he could hit once in a while, even though he didn't have that great of a spring. Defensively, he could be a gold glover, and then the Orioles must really like him to claim him once again, take him back. So it's kind of funny that he was claimed off of waivers from the Orioles in the spring, comes back to the Angels, and once again he goes claimed by the Orioles. But those two guys, AAA, they're depth pieces. So, but Levon Soto has proven that he can hit big league pitching and field defensively up in the big league. So we'll see if he comes back to us, if the Orioles DFA him and put him back on waivers. It's going to be interesting to see.
It's weird how other teams, find ways to make their AAA team really strong and can bring up anyone. But with the Angels, it just doesn't seem like that's the case. They get them from double A.
Yeah.
And then all the real young talent is down in single A. It's ridiculous.
That's a testament to, what that is, right? It's kind of poor scouting and poor organizational depth. It's like, go ahead.
I think having I'm trying to figure out how many of those pitchers, the 20 pitchers that was drafted in 21, how many of them have, moved up? I know probably 5 have made the MLB roster, but I'm kind of disappointed by that.
Well, when you look at guys like Neto and Sean Well that have been brought up, and Sean Well, keep in mind, both those guys, Neto was right out of high school. I think he played a little bit of college. Went to the minors for a few weeks, was brought up. Then Nolan Shonwell, he was playing college ball for a short time. Had a short stint in the minors and was brought up because of the skill set, because we had no depth at those positions. So they just brought him up, and they're like, we'll put them into the fire early to see what they have. And, they both proven themselves well. They're still on the big league roster, but they could have used that time, maybe some more time in the minors if we didn't have issues with depth. Mm-hmm. And once again, that's an organizational thing. And, it's you're seeing these guys struggle now because they need to perform now. They didn't spend that time in the minors. And there's, people out there, some pundits say, oh, well, Nolan Shonwell should be in maybe AAA right now, to hone his skills. Maybe that's true, but we don't have any depth at first base. Well, we have Sano and Drury. That's it. And those guys are just role players, bench guys that are in the starting 9. So, and Neto, he's performed very good. I think he's big league ready. He's just struggling right now. Wash will iron him out. But, both these guys, they had basically no minor league time. Mm-mm. So you're seeing them struggle now, and then they have to struggle on the big league roster because of organizational depth that we don't have, where we could have easily brought in some free agents or brought up some other guys. But, there are guys, so we're going to ride or die with them.
Yikes.
And, yeah.
Yikes. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
It doesn't sound great. But
it doesn't, but that's what the reality of this Angels organization is right now. We have to bring these young pups up, which have played well, like I said, but, they could have used some fine-tuning in the minor leagues.
So the Angels went on this homestand. They went 2-6, and their record goes to 6-6. Now, starting tomorrow, they will be on the road. They have the off day on Thursday, and they will go to Boston for 3 games, and then forward the Rays. And we'll preview those games. Let's start off with tomorrow's game. Let's see who will be the starters. Reed Detmers will go against the Red Sox. The Red Sox do not have their starter announced for Friday. And by the way, Boston on Tuesday was the last team to have their home opener. Remember, they were on the road the first 10 games. trips. They did the whole West Coast trip, Seattle,
Yeah.
Oakland, and the Angels. It's amazing to think. Canning will go Saturday afternoon for the Angels. Again, Boston does not have their starter. They're going through some injuries as well, I'd imagine. And then Sunday morning, Tyler Anderson will be going for the Angels. And again, Boston does not have their starter going. And that will be at 10:35 in the morning. Man, how do you see this series going? How many can the Angels get? I'm going to say, just like I did last week, the Angels get the reverse rally Chris pause and get a 1-2 record. What do you think?
Yeah, I think they yeah, I would agree with you there. 1 out of 3. But, let's see if Wash has these guys ready for a little revenge in Beantown at Fenway. I mean, don't count them out, but the way things have been going, we're not scoring many runs. Yeah, I think they win one of those 3 games.
Boston, by the way, is 7-5 on the season. They are playing tonight against the Baltimore Orioles, in which they have brought up Jackson Holliday, the number 1 ranked prospect. He's only, I think, 20 years of age. Tony Kemp was DFA'd for that, and I thought it was a nice little gesture by Tony Kemp to say, hey, go get him, kid. I remember seeing you as a kid, with his father, Matt Holliday, taking some BP and really raking the ball. And it's just funny how this has come full circle for the Orioles. Again, James, Baltimore doing everything the Angels should be doing. Damn it.
Yeah,
Next week, the Rays host the Angels in St. Petersburg for 4 games. Monday through Wednesday is a 3:50 start here, 6:50 over there. And then Thursday morning at 10:10 will be the start for that game before the Angels go to Cincinnati. But we're only we'll preview the Rays series. Those starters, of course, have not been announced. But you could just tell the Rays, despite losing who they have, and that's pitching, hitting, in so many different ways, by the way, on and off the field, either trades or other things. They have a system there that works. And maybe it's no names. Maybe it's finally paying some guys like a Rosarena and Yandy Diaz that works for the Rays. But they somehow always find a way to compete. And you saw that this last series at the Big A. Out of the 4 games, James, I'm going to say the Angels win. I'm going totally negative. I'm going 1 out of the 4.
James.
The rotation just has those odd pieces with Soriano going, no Silseth, and then eventually you'll have Sandoval. In that series. I'm gonna go 1-3 in that series. What do you think in Tampa or in St. Pete?
I have a little bit different take, James. I think they're going to split the series because the Rays, they have one of the worst bullpens, just like we do. I mean, well, we have a better bullpen, but they have one of the worst bullpens in the league right now. I think the hitting's going to come around enough. I think we're going to get a little revenge in St. Pete. I think we're going to actually split the 4-game series between the 2 of us. And did you know that we've lost 8 straight consecutive series to the Tampa Bay Rays?
Jeez,
8
that's
straight.
Right. I forgot about that.
But yeah, I think the pitching holds up. I think the hitting, I think we're going to have problems with the hitting. I think Trout's going to continue to be on fire. Ward's going to be on fire. Hopefully, Anthony Rendon, he's been showing that he's breaking out of his early season slump.
Better.
I'm just hoping. I'll take a split in St. Petersburg.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
I just think the pitching would just be would put us behind the 8 ball so fast, or not behind the 8 ball so fast. By the way, Carson Fulmer was the other reliever to come up for the injured Silseth and Zuniga, as well as Hunter Strickland and Fulmer. And then the news about, you mentioned Robert Stevenson. And he experienced some discomfort in his right shoulder. He signed a 3-year, $33 million deal in January. He was placed on the injury list, of course, on March 28th. He continued his progression during the bullpen sessions that he's had. He pitched in a simulated game for the first time on April 9th and will start a rehab assignment on Sunday on the 14th at AAA Salt Lake City. But he's getting closer, despite not really knowing the target date. Maybe we'll see him in the month of May. And I think they really need him. You know, I know Luis Garcia is here and there.
Absolutely.
Kind of sick of seeing him play or seeing him go out there in big moments and kind of losing the games for the Angels. So that's all the news, really. Again, go to please subscribe and follow Halos in the Infield on YouTube, Believe, as well as Instagram and X on Facebook. Make sure to check out Todd Fox's post-game show on YouTube. And on X, check out Fernando's question of the day to get your morning started. That's always a good thing and makes you think. Because I mentioned all this and 714 tickets and Nobel Works and all that. But I cannot get away. This will be a last topic here, and we'll talk about Joe Odell getting the opportunity to play finally yesterday. Now, he had the little goof in the outfield. He did hit a home run. He was in games late to start the season, in a couple of games, I should say. But, man, I don't know if it's time to DFA him. Maybe at the end of next month, you make him just... You have him go elsewhere, and maybe he'll thrive elsewhere. The same thing with Sandoval. And then Moniak, it just seems like they're riding him out in right field. I was hoping to see more of Aaron Hicks in right field. Or, excuse me, in the lineup at least. But it's been just a heavy dose of Moniak. And he's been really, really struggling. I know he's batting under 200. So... what do you do, James, with Adele? I mean, do you let him go, sometime this month, or do you keep trying to play him, every day game? What do you do here if you're watching Joe Adele? It seems to be like a organizational thing not to play him.
Well, he needs to play. And that's the only way he's going to get better is in the big leagues is if he plays. And if he's not going to play, we have a crowded outfield. Why not trade him? I know it's maybe an unpopular opinion, but I mean, a lot of Angels fans are asking for a trade. I think this is his last season. He's out of options. Trade him when his values, there's still some value for him. We need pitching. We need another big bat. See what you can work out with another team. I'm frustrated, just as frustrated as you are, James, as far as not seeing Adele play, but he's made some mistakes. And at this level, you just can't make some of the mistakes he makes. Like he overslid second base, I guess, yesterday. Wash wasn't too happy with that, and you can't have those mistakes at this level. His defense is still a little bit shaky.
Mm-hmm.
He's still not. He's hitting at the Mendoza line. It's time to cut your losses with Adele or just trade him. In my opinion, I think it's time. Trade him. He still has some value. Trade him. So what if he becomes a superstar somewhere else? We need pitching. Bottom line. And I've been on the trade Adele campaign for a couple of years now. I've seen enough. It's time.
Thing is, can you get anything for him? That's what I'm
right.
wondering. Maybe just
something's better than nothing.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting thing. I think that'll be the story this whole month. Not only with the team declining, in my opinion, but just what do you do with the guys who are not performing, like Sandoval? Do you trade him to the Yankees? Do you trade him somewhere to a winning team and see if he can thrive there? Do him a favor. With Moniak, do you trade him to Oakland? Do you do you see what can you see if someone else can fix him? It's just amazing to see what you can do with these guys. Yeah, but the pieces are just like really unknown here.
Yeah, they're just mid, kind of mid.
Yeah,
Moniak's mid. What are you going to get for Moniak? He's not.
Just
maybe a package. Yeah, I don't know. We need depth too. Yeah. We're very thin. We're good in the outfield, but we're very thin at other positions, and that's the thing. I mean, we don't have a whole lot of trade pieces that are going to get us a nice grab, but we do have Adele who still has potential, but you got to do something because you got other guys. What do you got? Aaron Hicks is not getting any at bats. He's been kind of mid too, like you got to do something. And I think Adele's time with the Angels is ending, or make a decision, send Moniak somewhere else. But I like Moniak,
There's gonna be a lot of changes coming up, James, and we'll be here for it. Yeah. Be sure to check out, of course, everyone, Hills in the Infield on YouTube, and again, all the social media platforms for all the breaking news that'll happen. Eventually, things will happen. Check out the Todd Fox postgame show on all the mediums here on Halos in the Infield. We'll end it at that. Go Halos, I guess. We'll see what happens on this long and winding road trip of, I think, 10 games?
Yeah. Oh, one more thing about opening day I kind of cut out. It was a pleasure hanging out with Mr. Todd Fox, Robert, you, and the family on Friday night. I had a really good time, and it's good to get out when we can all get together, get out to a ball game, and be critical of the Angels together, or just enjoy the game. We had a good time.
I think that was my fourth opening day in a row. How many is it for you? Was it for you?
I've been going. I haven't missed an opening day in at least 15 years, probably.
That's amazing. And it all started with Todd. He's like, "Yo, you want to go in 21?" I'm like, "Okay, I've never been." And that one was different though, with all the restrictions.
It's a different night. Everyone's excited. There's pageantry. There's a flyover. This was a different flyover this year, F-15s. Usually we get the C-17. But that was kind of different to usher in the new regime and all that stuff with management with Ron Washington and the coaches. Oh, we didn't mention Torrey Hunter becoming the assistant to Perry Manassian.
That was
Torrey's back in the fold.
He threw out the pitch, I think, on Saturday. On Friday, it was Jared Weaver. That's another thing I want to mention real quick before we go. The attendance on Friday and Saturday was amazing. They said it was a sold out. A lot of them just hung out, on the
crowd was electric.
Area.
Yeah.
It was electric crowd, something you want to hear all year long, but obviously that's not going to happen. No shout out to those Dodger fans that were unruly. That was just awful. I saw one, I don't know if you were with me, I think, but one of them threw a Modelo can down to the bullpen and hid behind me like a little, what. It was just awful.
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah. And all game long, it was like, where the hell is security? There's all these drunk people walking around. So Friday and Saturday wasn't amazing for the attendance. Saturday was, I guess, as well. But, man, the Rays series, ridiculous. What was it? 20,000 Monday, 17,000 on Tuesday. In the game I was at, 16,600 on Wednesday. And a lot of them were tucked under the second level, so you can't really see them. But I'm thinking to myself, man, that's not having number 17. That's that effect of not having number 17.
Oh, yeah.
Just like the days, I'm guessing what it used to be when they were periwinkle. That was the days with the Angels. How
I was there.
no
I
one would.
remember those days.
Yeah,
But there was a better feeling. There was a better feeling. There was a carefree kind of, oh well, the Angels. We never know when the Angels are going to win, so we were just fans. Now it's like, are we going to win ever again? Then it was just like, oh, if they win, they win. If they don't, we're still fans. We're still fans of the Angels. Now it's like, are we ever going to win again? Is Artie going to leave anytime soon? Are we stuck in purgatory for the rest of our years as Angels fans? Or the rest of our lives?
That's the big thing.
There's no future,
It's ridiculous. All right, we'll leave it at that. We'll drain our sorrows into suds, and we'll see everyone next time on James Squared. Take care, folks.
Go Halos. Be positive.